Hey everyone, welcome. I am Mr. Bo, and in this video we're going to be going over every single collectible in every single mission in every single chapter of Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Now I'll leave timestamps in the description below to every single mission and then every single chapter within that mission if you want to hop to a certain area. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So let's start off with mission 1, Dead Ahead. Now in the first mission, you will get to a point where you have to go and speak to Bruno. Now once you've spoken to Bruno, you will enter a room, and on the left side of the room, you will find all these tables, and on one of those tables, you will find your first document. It's called Memo, the Enemy of My Enemy. You can then continue straight up the stairs, and the first door when you're upstairs can actually be opened. Walk up to it, interact with it, open it, walk through it, and you will find your first comic collectible. This one's called Trouble Squad. Now we then have the first zombie hand, and you can find this at the point where you need to clear the radio mast of zombie interference. If you look down to this location here, you should be able to see the zombie hand crawling around on the floor. Once you've found it, try your best to shoot it, and if you manage to shoot it, you will get the zombie hand, Elvira. Now the final collectible in chapter 1 is when you have the objective to head through the medical bay after you've just sniped a load of zombies off the radio tower. Now once you've head through the medical bay, you will see this doorway with a load of wood banged up against it. All you need to do is melee it to get rid of the wood, walk in, and you will find the next collectible, which is an upgrade kit. From there we can then move on to chapter 2. Now the first collectible you'll get in chapter 2 is an upgrade kit, and in order to get this, all you need to do is speak to Edie and she will hand it over. Now whilst you're in the safe room, you can explore and look around a little bit, and if you head downstairs you will find a resistance fighter as well as a shooting gallery. You'll need to speak to him and activate the shooting gallery, and then make sure you complete all 5 rounds perfectly, and he will open up a door to you. Go into the room and there will be an open safe, and in that safe you will find another upgrade kit. Now the next collectible to find is a comic, and this is when you've headed out onto the train station. Your objective will be to get to platform 2. Keep playing until you get to this little room which has a bench inside of it. Clear out all the zombies, and then on one of the benches you will find the comic pickup. This one's called Battle Call. We then have the second zombie hand, and this one can be found when your objective changes to climb up the overturned carriage, and on the carriage just in front of you by the ammo crates you should be able to see the zombie hand walking backwards and forwards. Shoot it and that will give you McCready. Continuing on through the mission, you'll then get to a point where you'll be rushed by suicide bombers, and your objective will be to make your way to platform 3. Now in this big area you need to head to the right, and you'll find some stairs going up, and then follow that around to get to this little room, and at the end of it you will find another upgrade kit. Now once you've cleared that big area out, your objective will change to get to the safe room. Now before you enter the safe room, you want to go to this location here, and you will find the final collectible in chapter 2, which is another document called Safe at Last Part 1. And then we are on to chapter 3, the final chapter. Now once you've exited out of the safe room, you will be on a long platform. You want to head all the way down to the end of the platform. Your objective will be to head through the underpass. Now when you get to the end of the platform, you will see sort of a market area with a few stools, some food, and in one of these carriages at the back you will find a table with a load of food on it. You can walk up to it and you will find another document collectible, this one called Safe at Last Part 2. Continuing on with the mission, you'll eventually get to a section where you can walk up some stairs, and you have the option to go right and continue the main objective, or continue forward and head down some stairs. Your objective here will be to catch your train at platform 5. Now you should hear some screamings of a civilian, and this means there is a heroic action. So head down the stairs and make your way all the way down to the other end of the platform in this little building, where you'll find an NPC struggling to survive. Kill all the zombies around him and make sure he lives, and that will get you the heroic action complete, and he'll also reward you with the soft cap unlockable for all characters. The next unlockable can be found when your objective says find a way down to the chasm. Now you walk down some stairs and it will look like it's a dead end, but you can actually go right around the stairs and you will find the Preacher shotgun, which is a great weapon, but you will also find another upgrade kit. Now I will be doing a separate video on how to unlock a certain achievement with that Preacher shotgun, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now the final zombie hand in mission 1 can be found when you need to get to the signal house. Now before you drop down, you want to look over to this right area, and again you should see the zombie hand just walking around in circles. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will be Herbert. The next comic collectible isn't that hard to miss. It's when you have to enter the signal house and just walk around in the signal house, and you will find the comic pickup on one of these shelves. It's called None But the Brave. From there we can then move on to mission 2, which is Death Canal. So starting off with chapter 1. Chapter 1 sees you on a boat going through the canals, and you won't actually find any collectibles until the second time you go off of the boat. Now when you get off the boat for the second time, you'll start to be attacked by snipers. This is the area you want to be. You want to follow where I go on screen and head into this building which has a yellow interior. Now all you need to do is head upstairs and you'll find a crate with an attachment for your weapon, and to the right of it you will find the first document you can pick up called Nazi Propaganda, Good News, Friends and Allies. From there we can then move on to the next collectible. You'll need to hop back on the boat for this one and take it to the next stop. Your objective here will be to find and use the bridge controls, and as soon as you get off the boat you need to head straight forward through the doorway, head up the stairs and around, and you will find this zombie hand attacking a little doll. Shoot the zombie hand and that will get you Nadja. We can then move on to the upgrade kit. Now the objective for you here will be to return the control cogs. Now you want to be on the left hand side of the river, and you can see this sort of bridge area. You want to head up these stairs into this building, and just on your right you will find the upgrade kit, and you can go ahead and pick it up. Fast forwarding a little bit, once you've made it onto the other side of the bridge, in the back right hand corner you will find stairs up to this doorway. You can open it and that will take you up onto this lookout area where there is a crate with another weapon attachment, but over on your right you should be able to find a comic page. Pick that up and that will give you Cargo of Death. And those are all the collectibles in chapter 1. Moving on to chapter 2. Now when you come out of the safe house you want to head straight to your left, and you'll head into this area where there's sort of an old fountain, and you want to go all the way around to the left, and you can actually head down into this water. Follow the water around the back of the building and you will find the upgrade kit. Now this one was actually hidden pretty well. I went past this quite a few times. I had to restart the level. I just couldn't find it, and eventually, well, we managed to get it. Continuing on through the mission, once you've made it over the bridge and you've taken out the flamethrower zombie, your objective will be to find Dutton. Now there'll be a section where you can go left, around the building, and a section where you can go sort of up right into the building. Well, you want to head into that building, and up in one of the corners, as you can see that I go here, you'll be able to find these documents on some wooden boxes. You can pick that up and that will be Nazi Propaganda, Good News, Comrades. Moving on into chapter 2, you want to make your way through the mission to the point where you're in a room and you're destroying these summoner zombies. Now you can clear the room out if you'd like to, but you want to head to the back right of the room. It's this sort of dark area, and I'll admit I accidentally shot this whilst I was running around with the preacher, but the zombie hand is running around on the floor. I went back and found it for you here. It's just running around. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will give you that zombie hand. Next is the comic page for chapter 2, and you want to make your way through to where you talk to Captain Dutton, and you want to head to the back of the area where the giant building is, head into the building up on the second floor, and in the room in the middle you should find the comic page on this sort of wooden box, again by the end of a bed. That will be the comic page Sniper. And finally in chapter 2 is the heroic action. Now once you've defended the area with Captain Dutton, you'll make your way through to where the safe house is, and if you make a left instead of going up the stairs, you'll find there is an NPC who is being attacked by 3 zombies. Simply kill those 3 zombies and you will have your heroic action for chapter 2 complete. Those are all the collectibles in chapter 2. Let's go ahead and move over into chapter 3. Now in chapter 3 they are all pretty easy to get. So once you've headed out of the safe room, you want to make a right and go over the bridge, kill some zombies, and then go left into this room and you should find the upgrade kit. Continuing on through the mission, there'll be a section where you're basically filling up this blood fountain with zombie souls. Clear out all the zombies and then head up the stairs into this building, and on on your right, you will find the documents. Go ahead and pick them up, and that will be Nazi propaganda, good news, dying heroes. Now continuing on with the mission in chapter 3, eventually you will reach a point where you're facing against toxic zombies. You'll be in this sort of courtyard area where there's a fountain, sort of an angel statue, and instead of heading up the stairs, you want to head right into this room here, and straight ahead of you on the chair, you will find the comic page, Danger Deep. Now the final thing in chapter 3 is the zombie hand. So for this, you want to make your way all the way through until you get the objective, get to the safe room. But before you get to the safe room, at the bottom of this area, you will see that there is a bucket moving. Shoot the bucket and that will reveal the hand, and you can go ahead and shoot the hand. This one's called Gary. And now finally, chapter 4. Now chapter 4 in this mission is a pretty tricky one because the zombies are basically constantly spawning. So you're going to need to do this whilst there are a load of zombies coming after you. So once you defended the generator, you want to head down to your left, and once you're in this room, head into this doorway, and you should see the upgrade kit sitting on this barrel. Now once you're out in the main open area and your objective is to repair the generators, you want to head down to this sort of boardwalky area. You can see there's the flaming fountain, but you want to head over into this corner and you should see the documents. You can go ahead and pick them up, and that will give you Nazi propaganda, your duty to the Führer and Fa. And luckily, I managed to spot the hand cruising around on a little boat. Now, I'm not entirely sure if the hand is just anywhere to be found in the water or if it's only circling around that one location. So if it isn't there for you, maybe just go into the water, look around, and you should be able to find a boat with a hand driving it. And finally, the comic is located over by Generator B. Head into this sort of rusty old shed, and in the back corner, you should find the comic page on a table, and that will be the comic page Chosen to Die. After that, we are on to mission 3, which is Meat Locker. Now the first collectible you'll find in chapter 1 is a comic book page, and unfortunately, whilst I was recording myself picking it up, my software decided to crash on me, so I don't actually have the footage, but I'll show you where it is. So when you get to the first area, your objective will be to follow the trail through the woods. There'll be 3 cabins, one up the hill, one in the middle of the hill, and one down the bottom of the hill. You want to go into the one in the middle of the hill, walk in there, and you should find your comic book page either on the bed or the table next to it. Now the next collectible can be found in another wooden cabin. Make your way through the mission, and eventually you'll find a couple of cabins next to each other, and you'll know it's the right one because when you walk inside of it, you'll find a load of zombie heads on shelves, and on the chair in the middle of the room you can find your documents, and these are the cultist notes, the Golden Age. Next up, we have the zombie hand. For this, you want to make your way all the way to the end of the mission where you're fighting the tank. Now over here, you'll have a tree in the middle of the area, and you can see the zombie hand is just crawling along one of the branches. Shoot it, and there you'll have Allegra. Now the upgrade kit is in the same area. You need to go to the back right, so the doors that you usually use to exit, you go to the right of that area and you'll find this section here, and there's a sort of train carriage in the back. Head into the train carriage and you will find the upgrade kit on this side here. You can go ahead and pick that up, and that is all the collectibles for chapter 1. Let's move over into chapter 2. So to begin with chapter 2, you need to make your way forward through the mission until you open up the first door where a giant flamethrower zombie comes out. Make your way through, and before going up the stairs, take a right and head into this room, and you will find your comic book page on this box. This one is called A Storm in the East. Now continue up those stairs, make your way through the gym with the boxing ring in it, head out into the corridor and go straight into the other doorway, and you'll go into what looks to be a classroom with the zombie hand screeching along the blackboard, and that will be Ren. Now again, make your way through the mission normally until eventually you reach this shooting range. What you want to do here is go into the room to the left, and on this shelf on the bottom you'll find your upgrade kit. You can go ahead and pick that up. And finally in chapter 2, near the end of the mission where there's sort of 2 different levels, you get rushed by a ton of creepers here. You want to make your way up to the 2nd floor, head down this corridor, and on the table right in front of you, you should find your documents. This is Schweiger's Notes, St. Abaddon, A Brief History. And from there we can move on to chapter 3. So in chapter 3, all the collectibles are pretty much right next to each other. Eventually you'll make it to this lab looking area, and you want to head in and make a right. On your first table you should find the documents to pick up. You go ahead and pick them up, and that will give you Schweiger's notes the right tool for the job. Now if you head out of the lab and then make a left and go all the way down this corridor until the end and make another left, you should find your comic book page on this table, and that is the comic book page Advance. Again, from here continue on the left and you'll make your way down into this room with a couple of zombies in it. Clear out the room of zombies and make your way to the office at the back and you will find the upgrade kit. Now if we go back outside of the lab area that I showed you before and look up, you should be able to find your zombie hand walking along these pipes. The best thing here is to stand at sort of an angle and shoot up, and once you hit it you will unlock Brundle. Moving on to the final chapter, chapter 4, and again just like chapter 3, these are all located pretty much right next to each other. So as you come out of the safe house, you want to make sure you destroy this armored giant from this NPC, otherwise the NPC will die and you won't get your heroic action. So try and take it out as quickly as possible. Now if we go back a little bit to when you're coming out of the safe house, you'll notice that the zombie hand is located on top of the bunker. You go ahead and shoot it and that will get you Sean. Now if we move into the bunker to this area here, you then want to head into this little room that has the mounted LMG you can pick up, and instead of picking that up, face to your left and you should see the documents sitting on this wooden box. Pick them up and that will be Schweiger's notes, the end of the world. Now if we head outside of the bunker to this location, sort of the far left, with this big tower you can climb up, you'll notice that the upgrade kit is to my right here. So you can go ahead and pick that up, and then from there you want to head to the back section here where all the ammo and crates are, and you'll notice that the comic book page is on these sandbags. Next comes mission 5, which is Zombie Zoo. So starting off with chapter 1, the first collectible is basically just along your normal path of the campaign. So play the mission out until you're tasked with disabling 3 breakers. Now you'll disable the first one in a small building, but when you get to the second one, you'll go through these cages. Now as you're walking through the cages, you'll notice that one of them can be interacted with. You can go up, open the door, walk through, you will see the upgrade kit sitting on a stack of hay, and you can go ahead and pick that up. Now following on and continuing that objective, on the other side of the cages you will fight a load of zombies and you will find and disable the second breaker. However, on the bench in this sort of courtyard area, you'll actually find your document sitting right there, and this one is called the handwritten last words, Bad Landing. Now continuing on with the objective, you'll go to your third breaker and that will take you down into this cellar area. Now clear out all the zombies and disable the breaker. That will then cause a load of other zombies to spawn and break through some doors. You can now head into this room now the door has been broken and you will find your comic page inside. This comic page is called Cult Evil. Now if we go back outside onto the top, we can now go for the zombie hand. Now the zombie hand is pretty hard to find. I sort of just kind of noticed it, shot and realized, yes, I've actually got it. And it is in the monkey cage. Now this is one of the first cages you go past when you enter this area. It's on the right, and as you can see, the hand is sitting up on one of the branches with a couple of birds. I just saw it moving slightly and thought, have I seen the hand? Shot it, and yes, I have. And that will be the hand Woody. So moving on to chapter 2, this chapter will take you down into the animal pits. Now make your way through the mission until you get to the second pit, and you'll notice in the middle of that pit there's a little bunker you can go into. Head into there and on your right on the floor you will find the upgrade kit. Now continue till your objective changes to push forwards and you are tasked with going into the massive greenhouse. Before you do though, go over to the right area and you will notice there is a bench with a load of rats on it, but also with one of your hands on it. Shoot it and that will be the hand Allison. Now continue into the greenhouse and make your way up to the section where a load of creepers rush you. Clear out all the creepers and then go over to the left hand side of the area. You'll find some boxes stacked up with some dead bodies and a bench, and you will find your document on that bench. This document is Cultist Notes, the Führer Reborn. And the comic page in chapter 2 is literally right at the end of the chapter. Now a hole will blow up in the ground and you're supposed to jump down into it. But before you do, head to the right, you'll see this weirdly out of place green plant, and to the right of that you will see a table with a bird as well as your comic page. This one is called Law of the Wild. Now into chapter 3, which sees you go into the aquarium. Make your way through the mission normally until you reach the first room where you kill some zombies, and on the right side of the room on some stairs you will find your first document. This one is Cultist Notes, a Madman's Downfall. From there you'll make your way into a room with a giant dangling dead zombie shark, and this is where you'll find most of the other collectibles. So firstly you will see these display cases which were supposed to have animals in them at one point. But now you can see on this one, there is actually a hand on this rock. You can go ahead and shoot that. And in one of the other cases, you will see your comic page on the side of it. You go ahead and pick that up. And that will be the comic page, Death is the Hunter. Now we can move on to the heroic action. Now the heroic action is tied into part of the main mission. There'll be a section where you need to open the security gate and well, it kind of jams and you need to survive for as long as you can. During this time, there will be an NPC beside you with a sniper rifle, and you need to protect him. Now, I'm not sure if he can actually die, but the creepers and all the other zombies will rush him and pile up on him. Do your best to try and clear out the zombies. I would suggest maybe taking some mines or some tripwires or something and putting them in front of him, but once you've cleared out all the waves and survived and the gate has opened, you will complete your heroic action. And once the gate has opened, you can walk through and you will see that there is a safe now open. You can go ahead and pick up the upgrade kit. Now I'm not entirely sure if that is perhaps tied to saving that guy's life. It does seem a bit weird that the safe has opened and is green, so I would suspect that it is maybe tied to that heroic action. And then the final chapter is fairly easy. All of these are pretty much right next to each other. So play out the mission normally until your objective changes to enter the planetarium. You'll come out into this open area, and on this wall in front of you you'll see a bird, and you'll also see your final hand. Continue walking through this area and you'll reach a point where you can walk up some stairs and open a rift portal if you'd like to, but continuing on your left you will see a bench, and that will be your final comic page, and that is Break for Life. Then moving up these stairs, before you enter the planetarium, at the bottom of these stairs you want to go to your left and you'll see the document on this box. Not that hard to miss, but that will get you Schweiger's notes, 4 Nights Cometh. And then finally, before you enter the planetarium, right at the doors, you want to stop and make a left. You'll see that the upgrade kit is just tucked away here on these boxes. We can then move on to mission 5, which is Rotten Coast. So in chapter 1 they are all pretty close together. The first one is actually in the safe house. So you want to head into the barn, climb up the ladder, and you should see your first document here. This one is called Coded Message, Preparations Complete. Now head out the safe house, and in that first area we'll find most of the other collectibles. Firstly, go into this area where zombies will push a load of hay bales on the floor. You want to go up into this little building at the back, and in there you will find the comic page, and this comic page is called Fighting Patrol. Now going back into that previous area, you should be able to find this little section, and just up on this roof you will see the zombie hand walking backwards and forwards. Give that a shoot and that will be Kruger. Now the final collectible, the upgrade kit, is actually near the end of the mission, so you want to keep pushing through the mission until you get the objective to head to the Resistance compound. Now before you head into the compound, you want to go right all the way down the street and you'll see this little house. You want to head in there, there'll be a couple of zombies, but you'll see the upgrade kit on the stove down the other end, and you go ahead and pick that up. Moving forwards into chapter 2, when you come down the stairs straight away into the cellar, you can go to your left, and at the back of this room you will find the comic page on a box. This comic page is called Death Warrant. Now continue on to the end of the mission where you're tasked with surviving the zombie horde. Now you want to go up to the church, and at the top of the church there will be an NPC with a sniper, and he'll have a safe next to him. What you need to do is make sure that he survives the whole zombie horde. Now it can be pretty tricky. I worked out just basically standing on the stairs, putting a load of trip mines down, killing all of the main zombies, and then going outside to finish off the snipers. And if you do manage to make him survive, you'll get the heroic action, and he will unlock the safe, giving you one of the 2 upgrade kits in this mission. And once you've done that, you can head over to the safe room, and from the door here, you want to go into the building behind you, and in that building, you will find the document on a table. This document is handwritten last words, more bad luck. Now again, from the safe room door, you want to go right all the way down to the end of the street, and once you're down the end of the street, you want to head into this building. You want to go upstairs into this building, and up there you will find the second of the upgrade kits in this mission. And then finally, the zombie hand. You want to head to the back right corner of this area. You'll see this sort of alleyway with a crate down it from this street. You want to go down there and you will see the zombie hand on top of this fence area. Go ahead, shoot it, and that will be the zombie hand Linda. And those are all the collectibles in chapter 2, moving on into chapter 3. So again, in chapter 3, they are pretty much all close by to each other. So eventually you will reach this point where you need to reach the chain ferry. So instead of going left under the bridge, you want to head down to the water, go along this sort of docking bit, and on the right you will find the comic page. This comic page is Desert Furies. Now continue back to where you were, and this time go the normal way underneath the wooden bridge. However, once you've gone past the wooden bridge, turn around and look up on top of it, and you will find the zombie hand for this chapter. Shoot it and you will unlock Hughes. Now from here we can then head up the hill to this building. You want to go inside this building, head upstairs into it, and you will find this chapter's document on top of these boxes. This document is Cultist Notes, the Führer Undying. Now continue on with the mission normally until you reach a point where you need to realign the communication dish, you get off your boat and you survive against the horde of zombies. Well, if you come to this water section here, you can walk all the way over to this little house in the distance, and in there you will find this chapter's upgrade kit, and you'll also find a buzzsaw you can pick up. And then into the final chapter, chapter 4, these are all pretty easy yet again. So in the first section, you will be in the cellars, and you'll be fighting the giant buzzsaw zombie. Well, once you've killed that buzzsaw zombie, you can go ahead and pick this one up on top of these barrels, and we can move forwards to the next collectibles. So the rest of the collectibles are pretty much all near each other at the end of the mission. Your objective will be to activate the blood fountain. Before you do that, however, go left through here and head over to this statue, and you will find the comic page at its feet. This comic page is the Iron Cross. Now from this statue, you want to turn to your left, and you should be able to see the zombie hand walking along this piece of wood. Go ahead and shoot it, and that will get you Doug. Now from here, go to the other side this time, go right instead of left, and then walk up these little stairs, and you will find the document up on this stone bench, and that is the document of Schweiger's Notes, Dark Designs. On to mission 6, Molten Nightmare. So as soon as you come out of the safe house in chapter 1, go forwards and head up the stairs, and eventually you'll get to a point where you can jump over into another building. Go ahead and do that, climb through the window, and to your left you will find the first document. This one is Telegram, How Much Longer. Now you can continue on with the mission, and once you are up to the point where a load of suicide zombies and creepers rush you, clear them all out, and then make your way to the end of the area, and at the edge of the cliff in this little house you will find your first comic page, and that will be Hunt the Traitor. Now progress forwards with the mission for quite a bit until you reach the point where you need to repair the water pump, and there is an NPC working with you. You want to head up into the building that he is in, go upstairs, and you should be able to find the upgrade kit just lying on the floor, and you can go ahead and pick that up. And then finally, the zombie hand. Go ahead, repair the pump, defend it, and eventually once you're past that, you'll go up these stairs into a building, and well, you can't really miss it, but you can see this zombie hand is doing some walking on this rope. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will be Macrob. Moving on into chapter 2. So once you've blown up the door and you've killed the cultist, you'll make your way into this sort of courtyard area, and in the top buildings you'll find the zombie hand walking around on the floor. He's not actually that hard to miss, you should be able to spot him quite easily. Now push on with the mission and go down the stairs, and down in this sort of section where there are a lot of open buildings you can go into, this one on the left will have the document on the sofa, and that will be Cultist Notes, Faith in the Führer. These ones are pretty hard to miss. Now near the end of the mission, you will go down onto the docks. Now if you go over to where all these boats are, you'll find a comic page on this bit of wood here, and that will be the comic page The Survivors. Now also, if you turn around behind yourself and you go up into this little section, you will find the upgrade kit for yourself as well. You can go ahead and pick that up. And then finally in this chapter is the heroic action. Now play out the mission normally until you blow up the stuff blocking the safe room, and a guy named Terry will come out. he will try to make his way back down to the boat. You need to rush after him and defend him against the zombies and allow him to get back on that boat, and once you've done that, you will unlock the heroic action in chapter 2. Moving forwards into chapter 3, just like the last chapter, some of these are pretty hard to miss, so just play out the mission until eventually you walk into this sort of bar area and the zombie hand will be on the counter with a bottle. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will be Bernardo. Continue walking out of that pub and eventually you'll reach this section where you need to walk into this room, and well, the comic page is literally just on the sofa to your right. Again, you will walk straight past this if you just play through the mission. Coming out of there, you'll then walk up to this section and the game wants you to continue forward straight up ahead, but if you don't and you go to your right instead, you can walk up these stairs into a room where you will find the document. You can pick this document up and that will be Note from Survivor, a Deserter's Promise. And then finally, the upgrade kit in chapter 3 is at the end. You'll head into a graveyard, and if you go into the crypt on your right, you will find the upgrade kit as well as a ton of skulls that will turn and look at you. And then finally in chapter 4, as soon as you come out of the safe room, you're supposed to go right around the corner, but if you go left up the stairs into this building, you will find the comic page at the back. Go ahead and pick that up, and that will be Death Castle. Now the final 3 collectibles are all in the final room, so make your way to the point where you need to find the abandoned explosives. Head to the back left of this area and you will find the zombie hand walking around on the floor. If you shoot that, you will unlock Grimes. Now as soon as you come into this area, if you actually go to your right and head into the building, you will find your document here. It'll be at the back on a table. If you pick that up, you will unlock Schweiger's Notes and Old Terror Returns. Now make your way through the mission until eventually you go up the stairs on the right. Now there will be a blocked doorway, but a load of armored elite zombies will burst through it. Kill them all and then head into that room that they came out of and you will find the upgrade kit. From there, we are then on to mission 7, which is All Roads Lead to Hell. So at the start of chapter 1, you will drop down into this water area. You want to go straight to your left and you will see straight ahead of you down this corridor is the first comic book page. It seems that they are getting a little bit easier to find as we go through the missions. This comic page is called Undaunted. Now progress through with the mission until you get to the first sort of big area, and as you'll notice, the main building to your left will actually have the zombie hand running around on top of it. You can shoot that and that will be George A. Now eventually you'll need to go into that hut to regroup, but before you actually activate that, turn behind you and go into this little cave area and you will find the upgrade kit on the floor. Then continue on with the mission until you get to the very end. Now you're supposed to go right into the safe room, but you want to go left over here down this little corridor and you will find the documents lying on the floor, and that will be Resistance Fighters' personal journal, The Dams. And now on to chapter 2. So play through chapter 2 until you reach a point where you drop down and there's a blind screecher. On the left by all these boxes and ammo, you will find your first document, and that is Telegram, a Possible Strategy. Now the next section of the mission requires you to go through the catacombs and basically blow up these 3 different valves. Now the first valve to your left will also have the location for the first comic book page. It's just here on these barrels. That will be the page Pact of Death. Now make your way through to the second valve, and at one point you will reach this room which has yellow pipes in the ceiling. You'll notice that the zombie hand is just crawling along the top of them. You can go ahead and shoot him, and that will be Frederico. Finally, the third valve that you'll see up here on the wall, well, if you actually turn around and look behind you, you will see the upgrade kit sitting on this barrel. You go ahead and pick that up, and that is all of them in chapter 2. Moving on to chapter 3. Just like before, progress through the mission, but this time go up until you reach the blood fountain. Now you need to fill up the blood fountain because the door you need to go through will be blocked until a zombie has burst through it. It is this door over here. You can walk in, and on your left you will find the comic book page. This page is called The Last Round. Now also from the blood fountain you can get the zombie hand. So as you can see here, you need to go over to this section where there is some fence, and if you look out with your sniper, it is very foggy, but you can see in the distance there is a zombie hand on top of a building. My red scope probably doesn't help with viewing it, but you can go ahead and shoot it and you will get Debbie. Now the heroic action in this mission, I didn't even realize was a heroic action. Now you'll be tasked with meeting up with the advanced squad, and when you get to this section there will be 2 or 3 zombies stumbling forwards. You need to shoot them as quickly as possible because on the other side of them is an NPC, and that will be your heroic action complete. Now in this final area you'll find the upgrade kit and the document. Go up onto the building on the left, as you can see I am here, and if you go around to the back of the area you will find the upgrade kit. Now from the upgrade kit you can then cross over to the other side where the safe room is, and just to the left you will find the final document. That document is Journal of Resistant Commander, History is Watching Us. And then finally in chapter 4, these are all literally right next to each other. In fact, I actually walked past one of them. So when you enter the area to defeat Hitler's horde, you might want to do all of these before you actually disturb his horde. If you go to your right in this sort of underground area, you will find the upgrade kit. Continue forwards and you will find the document, which is called Cultist Notes. And as you can see, I walked straight past the upgrade kit. Continue on down here and you will find the comic book page, and that one's called Divided We Fall. Then continue over here and look at the power lines and you will find the zombie hand crawling along them. After that is mission 8, Hell Base. So the first thing in chapter 1 that you're going to find is the heroic action. Now make your way through the mission until you reach the blood fountain. Fill up the blood fountain and then the gate will open. Now as you walk through that gate you want to go to the edge of the cliff, and using your sniper you can see there is a man on a bridge and a load of zombies are coming after him. Shoot the exploding barrel on that bridge, that will kill all the zombies and you will get your heroic action, and I happen to get 3 headshots with 1 bullet at the same time. Now once you've made your way down that hill you will reach this building. Now you want to go inside of this building and head upstairs, and when you make it upstairs you will see your comic page on the table in front of you. This one's pretty easy to miss if you don't bother to go actually inside the building and then upstairs. And this comic page is called Chain Reaction. Now again, make your way through the mission until you reach a room which requires you to pull the lever. Instead of pulling the lever, you can go to the right hand side of the room and you will find your document over on this bunk bed. Pick it up and that will be the document Schweiger's Notes, a Unique Opportunity. Now pull the lever and make your way out of this room, and eventually you'll get up to this section where you're supposed to go left to cross the ravine to reach the drain pipe, but instead go right and around this section here, and eventually you'll get to a door. You can go ahead and open that up, walk inside and go over to your right and you will find the upgrade kit. And that is all the collectibles in chapter 1. Moving on to chapter 2. So at the beginning of chapter 2, you'll be fighting a load of zombies and a butcher zombie will come smashing out of a door. Clear all those zombies and then make your way into that door that the butcher zombie came out of. Go to the back and you will find the upgrade kit on the floor along with a zombie in a cage with a bucket on his head. Now continue on with the mission. You'll walk up these sort of stairs and go down a section and you should see your document just on this box over here. This one's pretty hard to miss. You should be able to find it really easily, and that is Schweiger's Notes, Mind of a Madman. Now progress through the mission, killing all the zombies until eventually you make your way to this big open area where you kill a load of zombies. You can drop stuff on their head, and once you've cleared them all out, the door on the right will open up. You can see the zombie hand is over there on the left, and we'll get that in a minute. But make your way into that room and you will find the comic page in the back on top of this desk, and that will be the comic page, The Blood of Heroes. Now the zombie hand can be shot near the end of the mission, so just progress through until eventually you need to make your way up these stairs, and your objective is to get out of here. So when you're making your way up these flight of stairs, you want to stop after the second one, look to your left and look down, and you will see the zombie hand running around in this big circle. Go ahead and shoot it, and that will be Alfonso. Also, be careful because a suicide bomber will rush you. And don't get blown up. On to chapter 3. These ones are all very easy to get. So as soon as you make your way out of the safe house, get to this section here and take a look to your left. You will find the zombie hand up on these stairs. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will give you Cooper. And then you can see the document is literally just in front of us, so walk ahead forwards, go ahead and pick it up, and that will give you the document Schweiger's Notes, Nightmare Weapons. Now in this big circular area, you want to make your way to the other side. There'll be a section you can walk up with a truck on it, a crane and something on fire. Make your way all the way to the end of it and you'll notice that the comic book page is tucked away nicely here, and that is We Shall Fight. And finally, the upgrade kit can be found at the end of this chapter, so make your way through the mission normally, destroy the tank, and before you go down the lift, you'll see these 2 extra doors have now opened up. One of them will have an armored giant in it, but the other one you can walk into and you will find the upgrade kit in the back corner, along with 3 creepy dolls. And the final chapter, chapter 4 of Hellbase. Again, these are all pretty easy. These missions are starting to get sort of smaller, so it's easier to find them. When you enter the first room where the relic is placed as well as the chair, you want to make your way over to this area where it has a load of computers. Go to your right and you will see the upgrade kit tucked away. Now kill all the zombies in this area until your objective changes to climb to the tower roof. Make your way through the doorway and you will see just on the left is a document sitting on a chair, and that will be the document Schweiger's Notes, a Trick of the Mind. And the final 2 pickups are just at the top of the roof. So as soon as you've made it up to the roof where Schweiger is, take a look to your left, look over to these stairs and you will see the zombie hand crawling around. You can go ahead and shoot that, and that will be Dario. Now before all of the zombies spawn, you want to make your way to the other side of the roof and pick up the comic page, because a lot of zombies spawn and I don't believe they stop spawning, so you probably want to pick this up before you've got a load of them to deal with. But go ahead and pick that up behind this barrel and that will be in enemy hands. And now we are on to the final mission of Zombie Army 4, that is Hell Machine. So this mission only has 1 chapter, and straight away at the beginning of the mission, when you spawn in, you want to turn around behind yourself and go into this room. You can open the door and you will find the document on this desk, and that is Resistance Command Memo, a final confrontation. Now go ahead and make your way out of the safe room and look over to your left. You will see there's an NPC up on that hill. You need to make sure you kill all the zombies that spawn up there, and if you do that then you will get the heroic action, and if you've had all the other heroic actions completed then you will get your achievement of Send Me an Angel. Moving on through the mission a bit, you'll eventually go inside of Hitler's tank. Now once you're inside of Hitler's tank, you can actually get the hand. It is located at the back upstairs. You can see it crawling along this pipe. If you shoot that, that will get you Mr. Handy, and that will also get you the achievement. Gotcha, didn't I? If you've already got all the other zombie hands in all the other previous missions. Now once you've blown up all the hearts inside of the tank, you'll then go down into the sewers, and this is where you'll find the comic and the upgrade kit. So the comic is just down here in the water down the end of the sewer. You can go ahead and pick that up, and that will be Day of Judgment. And the upgrade kit is located in the tunnel just next to it. You want to head through there to your right and up the ladder, and then once you're up there you'll be able to see the upgrade kit. And picking that up will give you the achievement Hoarder if again you've completed every other collectible. There you have it. Those are all of the collectibles for every single mission and every single chapter. If you guys enjoyed this super long guide, then let me know in the comments below and by clicking the like button to show your support. If you're new around here, then make sure you subscribe for more content. Also, if you do, make sure you tap that bell icon so you're notified when my videos go live. If you want to, you can go ahead and follow me over on Twitter at IamMrBo. Also, feel free to join our Discord server, a link to that in the description below as well. But thank you for watching and for hanging out with me during this super long video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.